Hello, and good evening to everyone. Well, depending on where you're joining us from, if you're in the UK or you're in Morocco, I think it is now 10:03, which is 3 minutes past 10. And if you're in the UK, we call it 22:03. If you're in Jamaica, it is just about 3 minutes past 4. And if you're anywhere in the Eastern Standard Time, it is 3 minutes past 5. And so even as you're joining now, we want for you to go ahead and hit the share. Go ahead and hit the share. Invite someone to come on over and share with us this evening. We have a special couple in the place, you know. Yes, a special couple.
Very special.
Yeah. Yeah. People, I think them couple there. Yeah.
And them camera ready, you know, them say pillow talk.
But think the show go hot. Hey, I wish you could see what I am seeing now. You see? And so if you want to see what I am seeing, then you should go ahead and just hit the share right about now and invite your friend, because we are inside of the Couples Corner where God is best for you and your
partner.
All right, great. So
big up the special couple.
Yeah. We're not telling nobody who they are, you know. Good evening,
Good
Omar.
evening, Omar.
Good evening. And this is Nelly.
Good evening, Nelly. Story time with Nelly and Sister Yvonne. Yvonne O is in the building.
I was about to wonder if it is bedtime for Nelly. But if Nelly can be on, then we need more persons to be on. So go ahead and hit the share this evening as we get ready to go right into our discussion tonight. All right, just before we go into our discussion this evening, all right, we're gonna get right into our discussion shortly. But we have another big news that is coming up today. If you look inside of YouTube now and look at the number of subscribers, you're going to see 1K plus. All right, so we are celebrating this evening. We've actually gotten to that milestone thanks to the hard-working team.
We have a whole crew.
You know, the whole entire crew who helped us to get to 1,000. And we're going to big up some persons, you know. We're going to big up some persons.
Yes.
Everybody is valuable. We thank you for your contribution and your support and believe in the vision, and you know, just I make the thing up, Daniel. Where is it?
Well, I'm excited. We want some pot cover, but we don't have no big, nice Dutchy pot, you know. Up here, foreign pot we have, so we can't make no nice in other place. But oh my God, I'm so.
Oh, you make people say you come from Jamaica.
Why? When the excitement reaches, you just have to excitemented. Big up yourself. I'm seeing Felita's wear. Thank you so much for coming. Vicky Lee, big up yourself. Thank you so much. The Watson's clan, big up yourself. We are all in the building now. We are celebrate.
You know,
we need some song. Wait. Let me see if we can find some celebration sound in the place, because listen.
Honey, you know, persons.
I don't know how loud it is, but it's no man, you have to go up and put on the guest, you know, because
No. Hold on. Persons, you see, I've been trying hard, you know, to not let anybody know I have a Jamaican wife, but you know, she just
guide.
Everywhere she goes, she make people know she come from Jamaica.
Of course. Listen, I'm in the colors, you know. Wagwan, big up yourself.
Pray for me, people. Pray for me. You know, I think my father-in-law shared a story some time ago about a man who bought a plaque. And, you know, I don't remember what the plaque
I
said.
remember that one then either.
Yeah.
I was like, give him a call.
There was a plaque on it, and I think the woman also bought a plaque, and it's something like "Lord help me."
Oh goodness! How you want the Lord to help you with no?
No, the woman first bought the plaque. I think it said "Lord help me."
Mm-hmm.
You know,
then,
as if the man a bird.
Oh, I remember that story then.
And the man just go
but
out.
No, it was something about say if the guy was to die, like what he would say, and if she was to die, what he would say. But we're not gonna talk about that one. I mean, I remember it clearly. But
all right. Anyways, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Greetings to everyone. Celebrate. Please go ahead and share this with all our positive vibration friends and family. Tell them we're on inside. We're about to get talking. If you see us enjoying ourselves, of course, we're feeling excited. We've just gotten over the 1K mark, and we're going to continue to grow. Big up yourself, Tidra. So we want to make some big shout out to our people.
Yeah.
Our team that helped us to get here. So holy but shout out to Tidra that even when we were out, you know, and feel like, well, we don't know who else to ask. Tidra was out working. Lady Nelly worked all over. Lady Yvonne, you know, Lady Camila, and all the wonderful
Madam Encryption and the family. Matilda Film, good evening. Blessings. Listen. Let me see if we can get that celebration music here one more time. It's not even now work with me, but excitement in the building.
All right. Anyways, let's get right into our program this evening. It's now 9 minutes past 10. And of course, we know that our couple is all the way from Morocco. So we want to get in time to have a discussion with them because we know they have work tomorrow, perhaps. And so we want to make sure that we have a great time with them and enough time for them to speak to us this evening. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about them because I believe they are past the age of 18. That's why they're married.
Yeah.
Them
past the legal age.
Legal.
And them have kids to so.
Them extra legal. Yeah. All right. Yeah, cool. So we'll allow them to talk about, you know, themselves in depth, but I will just tell you a little about who is coming. And so, you know, my wife has taken on the task to introduce the gentleman.
Listen, I hope we not get no penalization for them name, you know, because them very special. So the husband, sir, that is coming on, you know, Mr. is, he goes by the name Georgiandes.
The man right name, what kind of goes by the name?
So not that on his birth paper.
Doesn't goes by the name. His mother named
him. His name on his birth paper is Georgia. See, I mess it up now.
Calm down. And breathe.
I'm adjusting. I'm celebrate. Can I call the name right?
Breathe properly. Yeah, I'm not going to allow you to create any name suicide. No, breathe properly when you're saying. Thank you. So,
Mr. Georgian, Jesus, God have mercy for my soul. Georgiandes. His name is Georgiandes, and see where I give it a thumbs up. And he is the husband to the beautiful Tianka. I hope I get it right. They also have two beautiful children, Emmanuel and Jornia. I don't know about the one there. But Naya. Let's say Naya. All right. He is the founder of a virtual assistance company, especially in COVID time. Very relevant. And of course, he is a lover of Christ who bases his life on the foundation of prayer. How beautiful. Now let's hear about the nice Mrs. Madame. Over to you.
Tianka is wife to George Andes and mom to George Nye and Emmanuel. She loves educating and nurturing young minds.
Mhm.
She's a public school teacher turned Montessori guide. She's also a Montessori consultant and the founder of Montessori Coaching Services. She lives life and loud and enjoys traveling and making lifelong memories with her family. Ladies and gentlemen, if you think Rob Dunn have done well, go ahead and type 10 out of 10 as I invite the guests on tonight.
Hi. Hello.
How are you guys doing?
We are doing fantabulous, blessed and highly flavored.
And you guys did a good job with the names.
Awesome, except when it messed me up.
You see, I told a story some weeks ago about a pig and a chicken. See, they decided that they were going to make a lovely dinner for the hard work of their owner. And the chicken said, I am going to give something. And the pig said, of course, I am in it. But one little thing said to the pig, ask what the chicken is going to give. Chicken said, of course, I'm going to give some eggs. And what do you expect me to give?
No.
Some ham. So the pig said, you know what? You know what that means? For you, this is devotion.
Yes.
This is sacrifice.
What a commitment.
There are those who wants to give only some, but there are those of us who understand that marriage is sacrifice. It means we must give our 100% in
and then some. And then some. Oh yeah.
I am very happy to have you this evening. Could you tell us what time it is now in the beautiful country of
we're basically on the same time, so it's 10:14 here.
Yeah, same time
as UK.
Yeah.
Awesome. Tell us a little bit about Morocco for those of us who have never been there, and just maybe we might aspire to go there.
Oh, okay.
Morocco is a wonderful country. It's quite culturally diverse. It's culturally rich. The people here are grounded in religion. Of course, it's a Muslim country, so they're grounded in their religion, and it's great to see their commitment and their devotion and dedication to God. You know, I mean, they pray faithfully 5 times per day, no matter where they are, on the tram, wherever it is. You know, you see them praying, and you hear the call to prayer in the different times of the day. So it's an interesting dynamic, you know, compared to our Christian belief and Christian principles. It's an Arabic country as well, so that comes with its perks and it's not so much perks. So majority of the people, it's an Arabic country, but majority of the people you'll find speak French. And so we've been learning French for the past 2 years. This is the beginning of our 3rd year here now. So it's great. Lots of beautiful sights and scenery, and we love it.
Wow.
Fantastic.
What would you say is a selling point to come to Morocco? Because I know there are persons in the audience, you know, just wondering, look at that lovely background, pillars and all, and you know, that place.
Well, for me, I would definitely say the cuisine.
The cuisine.
For sure. It's very unique as it relates to the spices that they use and so forth.
And I don't like the food that much, so I'm gonna say, and I'm a little bit more practical. So for me, definitely, I love the cost of living. I love the cost of living. Definitely, that's my selling point.
Sure.
I love the cost of living. I mean, and then I love the fact that it's a very large country, and so internal tourism is great. You can go from one city to another city and think you're in a whole other country. And the cost of internal travel as well is phenomenal.
Wow.
What you're not saying?
Wow. We are going to talk because I think this couple needs to now move to Morocco.
Oh my goodness.
Yep, absolutely. So it's important that we understand persons that when we come to a marriage, right, we don't come necessarily altering our personality, but we come working on our behavior, our character, our conduct. See how two persons can be unique. One love the spice, and it's just the opposite for us.
Love the cuisine, and one don't love it so much.
Yeah, love pepper.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm more about the finances. So I see, and this is why we need to understand that we are in a marriage. We're not necessarily competing against each other, but we are here to complete each other. And so each person come with their own uniqueness, which will help the relationship to flourish. I feel like I'm going to preach, so hold my tail.
Come on.
Let me hold it together. Let me hold it together. But it's awesome. Oh, we can come, we can recognize our differences, we can recognize just what we disagree on in terms of our views and perspective, but look at how we can come together and use those to enhance the relationship. I feel like just telling someone on here, I believe that someone is going to come to Couples Corner, and even if you come here single, we pray that you will leave here.
Hallelujah.
I don't want Something is hot up in the building.
Listen.
All right. So thank you very much. And to those of you who are joining, please go ahead and share the program. And of course, join in with the celebration. Hit that subscription button and help us to continue to grow. Comment, like, and of course, let's keep the connection. We're building a community where we're showing persons that there are young persons who are actually winning at marriage. Winning. You know what? Sometimes the media creates this negative picture and image of marriage, and we think that marriages are struggling all over. Yes, marriage is hard work. Yeah, you're called to work. It's a task that you're going to take on together. But there are persons who are doing it and are doing it well. And so we just want to let persons know and encourage them that there are persons out there who are doing well, winning at marriage, taking it up every day and committing that ongoing sacrifice. And so I'm glad that I have a lovely couple in here who will do the rest of the preaching. I'm just doing the
Oh my God. Let us welcome them, guys. This is Mr. and Mrs. Morrisons, the Morrisons in the building, all the way from Morocco. And of course, we heard them coming out strong, and we can't wait to hear their love story. And of course, we have a beautiful video that we put together for them. So it's going to be a gift for them. And we think that we can play it for them, but we feel like we're going to do it twice.
we have to give them some time to get some wine.
Oh my goodness.
As we get ready. All right. And we're going to invite you to meet them for the first time in a video. All right. Yes. Awesome. Wonderful. So we're going to talk with the couple this evening because we want to hear a lot about them. Just want to get to know them a little bit more. And I'm sure that everybody waiting on me to ask the question, where did they meet? How did they meet each other? I'm going to start with that question.
I'm excited
And
already.
they often say ladies before gentlemen. But you know what? I think there's a level of honesty that comes when the man speaks first. That could be my advice.
Shabba.
So I am going to release Mr. Morrison to hit the road running.
Before I even get into the story, I just want to congratulate you guys on, your anniversary and the growth of your platform and, just the time and effort that you guys have put into your YouTube channel and just pouring into marriages in general, congratulations and thanks for having us.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us to be a part of the community and just to share our story. And we just hope that you're encouraged and inspired by it. All right.
Awesome. All right.
The story. All right. So the first time I saw Tianka, right? A friend and I went to a restaurant, right?
You know, hold on. Oh.
So a friend and I went to a restaurant.
Hold on, my brother. Hold on. We have always heard that the way to a man's heart is through. Can I just encourage somebody on here? Make sure you're cooking and make sure you're abiding near the kitchen.
Oh yeah.
You gotta make sure you're in the restaurant if you're gonna get a good man, because the way to his heart is through his stomach. Somebody better say amen.
Amen.
Yeah, so we went to the restaurant. I was really accompanying him. You know what I mean? And to be honest, I know it may sound a bit cliche, but at the time, like there was this door, and she came through the door to serve him. And the only thing I saw, I kid you not, it was just this chocolate aura, just piercing through the door, and I'm like,
You want some praise dance?
it's almost like immediately a search for glasses, because the presence and the glory of all that chocolateness was overwhelming.
Oh,
I was like, honestly, I was really taken back, and I was like, oh wow, this girl is gorgeous. Like look at her skin. And at the time, I really didn't say anything to my friend. I just kept it inside. And to be honest with you, seeing her for the first time, I said to myself, I'm going to marry that girl one day.
Wow.
Bridget.
I kid you not, without even knowing her name or anything. And she came out, she served my my friend at the time, and it was a takeout, so we left. And I remember every other day after that, I would go back to the same restaurant, ordering stuff. You know what? Even when I'm not hungry, I'm going there to order stuff just to see this girl again. Just to see this girl again. You know, at least every other day. And I just couldn't, I don't know what happened. I think at the time she was in college and she was living on campus. So at the time that I saw her was, during the summer. I think it was during the end of the summer. And by the time, I got around to going back to the restaurant, she had already reboarded campus and started school again. And so about 6 months or so passed. And I remember going to a corner shop in Jamaica, of course. And I saw her. And I was like, okay. And then I saw her and I was like, hi, how are you? How are you doing? My name is such and such. And I was like, can I buy you something? And she was like, no, I'm okay. And after that, it's almost like, what happened after that? I think you left the shop. And then Yeah, I think you left the shop. I walked you down, and at the time BlackBerry was prevalent, and I asked her for her BB pin, and she said it so fast.
On Blackberry
Uh,
time, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I like she said the pin so fast. It's almost like she didn't want to give it to me, and I said the pin so fast. No, well, she said the pin so fast, and I mean, for a person like me who's not so
Hey,
mathematical,
grab it door.
I grabbed it. I grabbed it. I'm telling you, I remember everything, and I just, just insert it in my phone. And, a few days after that, I text her. We had a phone call, and of course, I was so into her. I'm not gonna lie, I was so into her that I was super shy, so very nervous, and I think I blew it. Like we
Good
had
idea.
fun, and there was like one point where it was just this total silence for about 15 to 20 minutes. And that's where internally I was like, yeah, dude, yeah, this is the end of it.
Boy, if it wasn't for copyright, we play Speechless.
Speechless.
And
That's
she
how
was
you make
like, okay, I'll see you later. And then I was like, okay, all right. And after that, like I was really stuck in the friend zone and just trying to break.
Hold on, man. Hold on. Hallelujah. Sorry, I'm not at church. Now, last week, I'm helping some persons, Ladies, I am helping, if you're still single, learn the strategic places to position. This woman was positioned at a restaurant.
The other one was positioned on Facebook.
Listen, good men will always want to eat.
Hey.
Listen, ladies, not every good man enjoy pure fast food. Some are looking to dine.
Yes.
And they will get a little wine later, and they might just make up their mind.
Yes! Shama.
Spend a lifetime.
We need to copyright that one. Pull up. Oh my goodness.
Oh, Lord. Hold on, man. The gentleman. Listen, man. Every good man like good cooking.
Wait, I want to need the mic.
I'm gonna get to the sandwich that she made. I'm gonna get to it.
So much so that they will lighten their lovely woman to food. All this chocolateness.
Let the man speak. Let the man speak.
The pureness of the chocolate.
You better go right ahead, my brother. Go right ahead.
And I mean, like, I was stuck in the friend zone for a very long time, and it's like the even the friendship, like, it was just at a standstill. She was busy with school, and we didn't really talk for a very long time. And I remember I saw her again, and I think I was heading to the same corner store, and I think at that time she was accompanying one of her friends to the taxi stand. And I saw her from a distance, and while I was, just walking down the street, she saw me and she was like, "Hey, George and Les," and I was like, "No, it's not." And I was like, "Hey," and then, we got to talking again, and of course, I must say at that time, I was in the fashion world at that time, so now, I'm more bulky and the six pack and the abs and the chest, and so now it's almost like I am the main course now. I'm just
Fine dining man.
And like we just got to talking again. I think she had a new number at the time. We exchanged numbers and we kept in contact. And I think I must be honest, at that time I was more mature as a person. I think at that time I was really ready for her. You know what I mean? Physically, mentally, all of them. I was really prepared. My conversations were more well developed, and we were able to have a more structured and a more enticing, intriguing conversation. And I think that's when and where the dating really took off. She just fell deeply in love. You know?
Hold on.
Here a chance, cause clearing all these things.
Hold on. I don't know what happened to these ladies. And it's like they are specialists in the friend zone. Daughter, they look for me and say, hey, you don't want a man, Hold on. Every minute, hold on. The man said,
tea time with Lady Lettuce on here and she started up,
She saw. The gentleman said from day one he knew he was going to marry. Do you know my first statement to my wife? So first time, me come for my wife.
Wow, that's a small one.
Straight. Here, hold on, man. Somehow they have a way to think you're in the friend zone, when they're only playing with their own thinking. Listen me.
Yeah.
Friend zone, but the phone I ring every time. Yeah. Ring. Ding. Ding. Ding.
Oh,
10
this man.
10 o'clock. 11 o'clock.
Why? Ring for what? Ring for what
1
purpose?
o'clock. 2 o'clock.
Ring in trick me. We turn prayer point that in trick me.
5 o'clock.
Him trick me to pray when he was praying.
I don't know. Hold on. Stop. How do someone trick someone through praying?
Well, I don't know it works,
Because
but it works like magic.
all you do in praying is ask what you want.
Yeah.
And prayer is incomplete if there's no answer. Somebody needs to say amen.
Amen.
That's true.
So I was doing the right thing. But ladies and gentlemen, you have heard the records of Mr. George Anders Morrison. And listen me, man. Listen me. Every time him talk, I just see the eyes. And throat clear. So we know in every story there is his side, her side, and then we have the truth. Our job here is to figure out the truth. So we have heard his side. We're now going to hear her side.
Which is the truth.
Tell us.
We'll see. Tell us.
So I think he got the essence of the story correct, but it still wasn't quite correct. So yeah, I think we met in 2011. So my mom had a restaurant, and I would help her at the restaurant. And so he tells me all the time that he came with his friend to buy this food this first time, and I have zero recollection of ever seeing him. But he I believe that was his first time seeing me. Anyways, as I said, I was living on campus at the time. I was attending the Micro University. I was living on campus, so I came home. Every now and again I would go home every other weekend or whatever, whenever I want to see my mom. And so I went to the shop. I went to the corner shop and I saw him. He rode a bicycle to the shop. I was buying what I was buying, and I heard somebody say, "Buy me something now." I was like, so I smiled it off, and I just say, next time, and I hurried out of the shop. So I'm walking home now, and I, hear this bicycle wheeling behind me. So, he was making small talk, and I was like, whatever. And then he was like, okay, can I have your number? I said, you can't have my number, but you can have my PIN. And as he said, I said it so fast, like super speed. So, and then I hurried inside. Lo and behold, you know, a couple hours later, I got a message. I got the BBM request. I was like, oh my God, he you know, he grabbed it. Man.
Hold on.
Yeah,
Hold on.
message for the men, you have to be quick. Catch it.
Listen,
Yeah.
you got to be always ready.
Soldier.
You must be alert and ready to go. Listen, you must know when you hit the jackpot. And when you hit the jackpot, you must be ready to grab every opportunity, whether that is phone call, email, friend request, whatever it is. Be
Sharp.
Go ahead, sister. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I got the request, and then you know we were having small talk via text, and then he called me that evening or you know night or whatever. So we were talking, and the conversation was just kind of like, when it ever done, you don't talk yet. You know, it was very lots of silent moments, and I just couldn't wait for it to be over. So when it was finished and whatever, I was like, all right, fine, you know. And then, as he said, I never really hear from him as much because I guess he thought, all right, then, you know, she's not interested. But I went back to school, so I never really saw him, you know, again until 2013, you know, over a year and a half later. So latter 2011, fast forward now 2013, the Easter of 2013, I came home for Easter break. So I came home and my friend came to visit me one afternoon, and you know we were hanging out and stuff. So I was accompanying her back to the taxi stand to get taxi to go home, and I saw him, you know, a little boy by the football field. But this time when we see him now, you know, man, it's a different package.
Oh
know?
yeah,
It's a different.
You worked, you went to work.
It's a complete different package, you know, which piqued my interest. So anyways, I dropped off my friend. The taxi came and she left and stuff, and I was heading back home. So I said, "Hi, you know, how are you?" Whatever. He said he was fine. So
it was a different kind of high, though. It wasn't just a high. It was like,
yeah.
you know that high. You know, it's like 10 eyes at the end of the age.
It's have interest attached.
Yeah.
Hold on. Jamaicans, are you on here? It got bra tops.
No, it have the oxtail price.
Yeah, it have the oxtail price. High with some oxtail on top of it. But hold on. The gentlemen who are on here, and I'm encouraging some ladies on here.
Yes.
How you know a man is ready is when he's ready to do his homework.
Okay. So word.
You see, the ladies are always setting the assessment. and it's always handing out a worksheet to be completed. Sometimes it's not clear.
Yes.
But you've got to read the mind, to discern the mind, to discern the heart, to discern the intent, to discern the wanting and the longing. You got to
lifetime.
do it.
Preach.
And you got to ensure that you are strategically positioned.
Yes.
You got to know what time she's gonna walk down the road and at what interval to make the right hit. Oh, glory.
Yes.
Somebody need to go to the comment section and declare we're hot.
And they have to remember though the vision may tarry, you know, because 2 years later, hey, though the vision may tarry. Preach.
Oh, no, it's getting hot in this room.
That's here.
Yeah.
Oh Lord. Can I tell the men? Don't you dare give up, friend. Don't dare give up. Don't give up.
Upgrade the package.
Upgrade the package.
Yes.
That's it.
If she
And
don't
when you
want
see
you
them,
at a 1+, work on a 2+.
yes,
Ain't good enough, get a 3+. You better keep going until you hit the jackpot, until you can get a upgraded response.
Amen.
One upscale,
yes,
the upscale response.
yes. And don't get weary in the waiting. Don't get weary in the waiting.
Ah, Jesus.
I got a couple over here preaching.
Yes. And if you need some encouragement, just as the Bible says, write the vision on tablet, make it clear so you can run and read it. She shall be my wife. And you read it.
Hey. The baby pin run fast and him catch it.
No, honey. The man sharp. The BB pin go pit. And it's like the man just there go.
Sweet pea, say your hobby is a whole mood. Oh God.
No. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us inside the Couples Corner, listen to me. We have to give the couple a little water break. We're going to introduce their video again so you can see them nice up and give them a chance to get some.
Watch out. See that shell have some green juice,
Ladies and gentlemen, we are speaking with the lovely Morrisons from Morocco, and boy, I'm telling you, I didn't know I was getting two preachers this week. I got two preachers up in here, but I'm telling you, it's an interesting message here coming out, and I hope persons are actually listening and just looking at it. I'm serious. Upgrade the package, man. Make sure that you're ready and you're alert. And gentlemen, you got to know when you have seen the one. I believe George Andy said earlier that from the moment he saw her, there's always that click, man.
Yeah.
Everything select.
It's just that feeling.
Yeah. It does hit the groove.
The glory
when you get that click and you don't go booming from place to place aimlessly. What you're doing is being strategic and upgrading the package. You know what you saw. And you know what you want.
Yes,
Let me to them and let me hear Lady Morrison finish her story.
So fast forward 2013, as I said, I saw him and it was more like, hi. And so he, you had your neighbor with you, had Jonathan. So he had a little boy with him at the time. And so, I was like, hi, and he knew where I live. So anyways, I was like, all right, so I'm going home. So, I'm walking home. So there are two avenues to get to the same place, to my house. So I took one avenue, not knowing that he's taking the other one, although the other one is a little longer. We still ended up at the same place at the same time. And so that afternoon we spent probably 2 hours, 3 hours just chatting.
3 hours?
Just chatting.
Just standing and talking. And everything just catapulted from there. Everything was just the right time,
A couple relation is coming now. There's a joining of couple and revelation. Revelation is coming. I've always said to young ladies, when ensure that the man present a proposal. I'm not talking about getting on your knees and just saying, can you or will you marry me? It's about presenting all the mission statements, the vision statements, where I'm going and how do you fit in where I'm going.
Yeah.
I believe those 2 or 3 hours somewhat included that whole vision, setting up himself and presenting, a great package so that the young lady can decide. Look like something can go on.
Man.
Yes.
Give it and a sing shot.
Yeah.
Get thing right. Yeah.
Exactly.
Know what you want, youth. Know
Yeah.
how to present yourself. Every man, every husband is a good practitioner of English and being able, English or language rather, being able to adequately represent yourself. If you come from Jamaica, you have to know the lyrics.
Yeah.
You have to know how to be what it is behind the lyrics. You have to have the substance beyond the lyrics. We don't want to be the empty barrel making the most nice. We want to be a barrel full, making some sound and solid noise. And you're talking because of that. Yes, go ahead, Lady Morris.
Yeah, I'm saying, but the barrel must full of substance
Yeah.
of all sorts.
Yeah.
Right, continue now. Sure.
Yeah, so we spent that afternoon talking, and then every day after that, while I was on break from school, he came every day after that, every day, and then the relationship just kind of organically, started that Easter 2013.
Easter 2013.
Yeah. Here some people are repeat Easter 2013. Because Easter 2013, some people married.
Okay.
Nice.
Congratulations.
Yep. This is our 8th, now going 9 years together. Yeah.
Oh, congrats.
So 2013 is a year that is special. Absolutely. So that's how the relationship started. So what I want to know now is how. I know normally the men who are strategic in planning these special moments.
The dates and stuff.
Kind of dates.
Yeah,
the proposal.
Oh, proposal. I got to the first date. You know what I hear about that?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, the first date?
Let's hear about the first date.
All right. So I always said for us, we didn't do a lot of the cliche dating. Yeah. We spent a lot of time and a lot of afternoons, days, a lot of time talking and getting to know, the core of who, he was and the core of who I was. So we spent a lot of time doing that. I don't even think we realized that we weren't even actually dating, but we just, this friendship just blossomed. And he was just always by the house. We were always talking. Either he's always by my house or I'm always by his house, getting to know his family, getting to know him getting to know mine, and myself getting to know his, because I think it is very important, more than the dates and the restaurants and everything. You need to know what is coming with the package.
All right. And that is so important even now, because a lot of persons, I remember saying something to a friend of mine and he was like, it's so hard. I don't know how the dating thing is going to work because of the whole things that are happening, with life and, all that kind of restriction and stuff. I'm like, there are so many ways you can date. It doesn't have to be going out and stuff. And I mean, the simple things. And one of the things that we have that we've accepted and really lived by is that when we were dating, it wasn't all about, oh, what's your favorite color? Oh, what's your favorite food? But where do you see yourself? How do we fit together? Because we can't work it out now. Then when we get married and stuff, what's going to happen? Then we're going to be like next chickens.
Yes.
So it's very good. So for those persons who are not yet married, those persons are contemplating getting married and you're in the dating phase and you're like, oh my God, I can't date and all that. let us get rid of the cliche, as Mrs. Morrison said, and really get to know each other.
Yeah.
You know,
Get off of Instagram. Get off of Instagram and what persons are posting. Get off of that and get just do your own thing. Get to know your partner, because sometimes and sometimes we say, oh, either we say the guy can't take us on date, or we're not going on dates as in what they show you in media or on social media or whatever. But more important, quality time, lots and lots of quality time. Because when two are joined together in marriage, it's for a lifetime. And he was who he was for all the years he was who he was, and I was who I was for all these years. So, spending time at each other's homes, and him getting to know my mom and my sister and how we operated as a unit in a single parent household, and then me getting to experience his dynamic in a nuclear household, mom and dad, and that long marriage as well. And it was a whole different dynamic for both of us, and the bigger family and the siblings, and getting to know how his parents are and how them raise him, because then now I can look back and say, all of that information that you unknowingly gathered really help you to understand how he functions, how he operates, his why him do things this way, why him operate that way, which is much more beneficial right now in keeping together a healthy marriage.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you're preaching some solid points, and I'm going to make sure that I come in on this, even as you share this, because my hope is having a corner like this is that while we have fun, we're taking away those great tips that persons can apply to their own lives, and of course make right decisions. Listen, you should not come to a couple's corner like this and end up making poor decisions later on. You're
Yeah.
getting some great tips. Hear me. When you mention the dating thing, sometimes if I say this in public, people might think that the Rabdans are boring, right? But our first date was at KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Yeah.
And we were not allowed to have that date until maybe after about 2 years, because our parents
my
was
parents.
was interested in building relationship with a young
Mhm.
man who would wed their daughter. And
Yeah.
so there were times when I went to their residence and glimpse. Listen, I see a house,
Yeah.
and the house is not a mansion, but glimpse.
Yeah, because my father made it known you didn't come here for Daniel, you came here for us.
For us, the
Yeah.
family.
Yeah.
And you know what, I am you know I'm usually passionate about this, because our young people of 21st century, and let me not say young people, modern day couples, seem to want to get married and cut off the community. And we have
Mhm.
this thing, I'm marrying you, but not your family. I want to clarify that on here, that you're marrying into a family. Literally, you're going there. Yes, you're not marrying everybody in the family, but you're marrying
Mhm.
into that family. That
Yep.
Yeah.
family had a structure before you arrive. You
Yep.
can't go in and think you're going to change all the views, the norms, the cultural practices.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
you are going there to learn. And as soon
Yeah.
as you learn, you're strategizing. Some
Mhm.
things you are going to have to decide, can I, what will I respond in this particular scenario? So it's very important that we understand the community. And I've always said to people, a lot of persons will celebrate us at the wedding. The wedding have the most people, and it have the
Yeah.
whole heap of scream and all that. Everybody want to see the kiss, right?
Mhm.
After the kiss done, is like everything over. You see at the reception, bing, 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 bing. And give you an idea to think that marriage is all about just kissing and, and drinking wine and eating cake. When
Yeah.
reality is, the real work starts after that. And then
Yeah.
where are
Yeah.
you going to find the support? And again,
Yeah.
we keep having too much support. This is what I say. We have too much support for the wedding, but no
Mhm.
support for the marriage.
Right.
Exactly.
You
Voila.
Yeah.
choose all these
Exactly.
people for groomsmen, best man, in the culture of where marriage originates. These persons were your community. The best man is somebody you can be accountable to. It's not just your best friend. It's
Yeah.
Mhm.
someone who knows you, someone who is objective, someone who's going to tell you, listen, me, you need to go home and forgive your wife. You need
Mhm.
Yeah.
to go home and be a man, stand up, right, and do the right thing. That's what you need. Groomsmen who will say, listen, son, You might be disappointed now. This might be something that you don't want. But hear me, you need to go and get it right. We
Yeah.
need a community of people who are holding us together, holding us accountable. Listen, we have to get rid of the fun flair, the Hollywood. This is
Yep.
what's wrong with marriage. We're trying to have a Hollywood union. We just see everything and we just want to see all this flow. We have to get to the point where we're building a community, right?
Yeah.
Bridesmaid and maid of honor who can say, listen, let's go in prayer. Let's pray because this union is going to work. That is what they sign their name to the dotted line for, the best man and the maid of honor. That's
Yeah.
why their name is on there. They are saying we are witness to this union. And we are committed to fight with you, fight alongside you, support you until you get there. But not many of us can actually say we have persons like those because after the wedding, that's usually where it is. And that's a serious problem. So I want to just put this out there. I love the point. Something I practice in my house. Well, I'll take on a challenge. Not because I'm good at it, but just because I want to learn about my wife. I want to be getting it wrong and hearing her telling me, oh, no, that's not going to work. And I'm like, but watch me, it's going to work. And we're learning about each other through that. I'm learning, I'm learning to work out our differences, our disagreements, all of that. That's necessary. And so dating must not just be seen as just going out to wine and dine.
Yeah, that's true.
Dating must be, it must involve your everyday life. Listen, you're not going to live in a restaurant all the day of your life, but you're going to live together. So you want to be doing things together. So even when you go out to eat, it's your lifestyle. There are days we're going to sit at the table and we're going to eat together. This is going to be our expectation. This is how we're going to talk. This is how we're going to work out our issues, right? That's what dating is. Dating is not just going out to have a good time like that. It's learning to work together. It's learning to partner together. This is why when you learn this, it's not about money or what I have or what the other person have. It's about two of us selflessly learn about each other and making a commitment to help each other to be the best version of themselves. May I say to somebody on this platform, if you're planning to get married soon, please, this is not something for just the friends that you meet who won't hold you accountable. People who you will not be able to go to and say, this is my struggle. And they will call you into prayer. They will call you and give you supportive tips. They will work with you and labor with you to ensure the thing actually work out. Just get into the marriage counseling, but let me just let me just put it back over to the Morrisons. So wonderful. It's their date, and I'm glad that we have somebody who is, I say smart like me.
Brother.
Yes, smart like me. That means I'm not crazy. I'm only smart. we have learned to just learn the same way. They spend quality time learning about each other. Yeah. That is something. You know what? My father-in-law who is, by now everybody must know, say, at the role model when it comes on to being a man, right? Because I never really had a father who stood up in the home and was that kind of man, right? And something I'll always say is that every time I look back at my 20-year-old self, I still look up and say, boy, my father-in-law had patience. And I believe that he saw in me genuinely, what I couldn't even see myself. Mm-hmm. And when I look at myself then and look back now, I'm like, boy, you're really named process. But you know what? He has given nuggets like these. There are many times he held me accountable. Yeah. Years after, I'm looking back. No, I'm not telling that every time we used to enjoy it, because nobody wanted to be man. Oh, why did he come tell me this? And why is he doing this? But he kept at it. I look back this day and say, thank God he did. Because now, I can see what he was trying to build out of me. I'm talking about having people who can help you. Listen, the family that you're going into, they have been a family for a while. They have experience. They are the foot soldiers. They know what get Tom upset and Harry mad. And they also know what calm him down, right? That's something you want to learn. And so we need to build a sensible relationship. So I'm not into this thing about being separated from your in-laws and not having any. No, this is what's wrong with marriage. We're making too many Hollywood star our role model, and this is why we're in the couple's corner to be your new and updated role models.
I'll be right back. I'm going to get the little one.
All right. Awesome.
It's gonna
Excellent.
join us.
Yeah, it's us. We'll keep it one and reason until she gets here. All right, people. Thank you so much for those of you who have joined. Please remember to go ahead and subscribe. Remember, we're active on all platforms. We're on Instagram, so you can go over there and just type the Rob Dance and make sure you give a little like over there. I like. Oh yeah, something like that. Give us a follow. and go on Facebook and give us a follow. We want to advocate and continue to build a community where we can come together and learn from each other. None of us here are any experts at marriage. We'll let you know that, but we are doing things that are actually working. And so we're bringing to you, practical expertise that can help you go on. Thank you very much. Amen. Miss Samuels for going ahead and, of course, subscribing. All right. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Even on Couples Corner, we're doing it together.
Look at that.
Awesome. We are doing everything together. Awesome. So thank you very much. So we're going to continue to share because I want to know how the question did pop and we want to hear about all the planning that went into the thing. So I think the right person to talk on that is really the gentleman. I'm going All right, so go right ahead. Let's hear from you, sir. Tell us about the planning to pop that.
Yeah, I mean, the plan at the time we were living in, I think we were in Atlanta.
Yeah.
At the time, and so we were in Atlanta at the time, and at that time we were. To be honest, it wasn't too much of a surprise because we had a discussion,
Ongoing discussion.
ongoing discussion on
marriage was the end goal.
and so forth, and we knew marriage was the end goal, as she said, and so I think the only thing that came as a surprise for her was the actual proposal, and her and I, her aunt, we took her to a park and we pretended as if it was just going to be a photo shoot, a just because kind of photo shoot, right?
Yeah.
And so her cousin was the photographer at the time. And of course we, I told her, okay, it's going to be all white and so forth. And so she was well dressed. I already purchased the ring, like I think 2 days before. I almost didn't get the ring because I think someone else was interested in it, and I had to talk to the store owner, like really talk to the store owner. And the actual day I went to pick up the ring, it was a little bit late, and the store owner was about to close, and I had to plead and say, "Hey, this thing is going down tomorrow." And I think on the day I proposed, it was a holiday in the States, so of course the store was going to be closed on that day. But anyway, God was on my side. I got the ring. And so we went to the park and, we were taking pictures in the garden and so forth. And I basically told her to turn around, right? I just got down on one knees and she turned around thinking that she was going to, probably take a picture or something. And
yeah.
Just like that, I just popped out the ring, and from then on there.
Describe our reaction for one man. We know you know a little of the drama, so give us the reaction.
Yeah, I mean, like for my reaction, right?
Tell me her reaction.
Okay, so her reaction, I mean, like she was screaming, like, I was like, yes.
It looked like she have it well recorded,
We do.
I'm gonna give you a clip.
Yeah.
I didn't know that you guys would, would
But
want
if
to
it's
keep.
close, just send it to me fix it up for you. Quick.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
absolutely. There you go. Yeah, people, we need that. We need that.
We need to see that reaction.
Right.
It was just priceless. Like the emotions, the response, everything. Even though we discussed it before and we knew that okay, this is how I feel about you. I do feel as if, more importantly for me, what my dad always taught me is that he's not going to allow me to marry a woman that is not of God's will. And so when I actually proposed and we had the discussion, I already knew, like she was already confident that marriage was going to be the end goal. And so to still see that we had the discussion and it wasn't all the way spontaneous, however the proposal was a bit spontaneous, and to see the natural emotions and that level of happiness was just priceless.
Priceless.
And of course, you can tell you guys how she felt within that moment. And
Yeah, tell us how you felt when you turn around and see him actually living up to his word. Yes, you discuss it, but when a man take a step after discussion, it means more to you than all the words that he have been speaking. Yeah, there are a lot of men who only
talking now and walk, eh?
Yeah, he moved from just talking to walking. Tell us your response to that.
Yeah, so it was supposed to just be a photo shoot, but my aunt and my cousin were in on it, so we went to the park, and I think it was my cousin that she was doing a thing, and she was like, "So turn around, blah 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 blah," and then she was like, "I didn't even know my aunt was filming too." Turn around, and then I saw him on one knee, and the whole excitement and posters and stuff. And I was like, that moment you're like, yes, we know that we're getting, we're gonna get married, but the thoughtfulness
and Lady Morrison, take us back there. I see you want to go and you halt in between. Do not hold back, my sister. Take us right there. Relive the moment.
I mean, I think I'm picturing it right now in my mind. It's like immediately that moment, my cousin, she just said, "All right, now turn," and I was just I was just innocently following instruction, and then I turned and I saw him, and then I was just so shocked. And then too, what was even just more exciting was we were talking about rings and what I liked and whatever, and he got I was talking to my cousin about rings and what I liked and whatever, and then to see that he obviously took advice, because she is the same exact one that I told her that I loved. So I was just like, the ring and the same exact one and the whole thoughtfulness and everything that went into it. I was just screaming and laughing.
Give us a scream again. I know.
Send me a video, man. I could get to play it in a real time.
I'm gonna send it, man.
The number is on the screen, and guys, if you want to call in to ask them questions, feel free.
Can you put that number?
Right.
Or YouTube channel?
It's on the YouTube. Oh, you guys have a YouTube channel?
Yeah, but we're not really active with it anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's on there.
So, awesome. You know, honey, me know them a look for the real thing, but we just think Lady Morrison at the inch, like about 50%, 60%, 69% of just giving up the scream the live again. We need an updated version.
Oh my God!
There you have it. The updated, the updated.
The number went away. Can you put it back?
The number on the screen.
I'm not seeing it anymore. 44. Oh, there it is. 4473.
All right. So while they're doing that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Let me go ahead and just do some greetings to you all. Favorite woman, good evening to you. Lady Andrea, good evening to you. Ogam Series, good evening to you. Lady Nelly, good evening to you.
Kashleem, I hope I'm getting the name right. Kashleem Samuels.
Good evening to you. Awesome. I'm looking around. TJ, good evening. Camille, good evening to you. All right. Lady Shade, good
All right, I
evening.
sent it.
Evening. Awesome. All right. While my wife take care of the technical aspect of it, Lady Abigail, good evening to you. All right, all right, all right. Lady Chosen, good evening, good evening, good evening. All right, so to everyone that joining us, thank you so much for joining us. We're coming down nicely, so we have actually gotten to the proposal. What we want to go into now is just to talk about, just talk quickly about their plans and how they undertook their wedding. All right, so who had the most stock in the wedding? Watch carefully, my people. Who had the
Yes,
most in the-
that's definitely me. To be honest, I know it's a bit unorthodox for men to,
yeah,
grow to basically grow up having a vision of the wedding day and so forth, because I think that, like men were heavily trained on how to provide and so forth, and women, they're more trained and prepared to, take care of a family, a husband, and to, to basically have a vision of the wedding day. But for me, um, since a child, I mean, I always imagine getting married, having two kids, a boy and a girl, and the wedding would have to be an all-white wedding. And so she did had her own idea, and I would say, well, kind of have this thing from I was a youth still, and I really think this all-white wedding is gonna look clean. It's gonna look, just beautiful. And luckily for me, she was so in love with me that she really opened up to the idea and made the sacrifice to set her desires aside to, explore the all white wedding thing. And lucky for us, it went well. And let's be clear, the all white concept was all my input.
Yeah,
Everything else was you.
yeah.
So it's like 10% was me, just the concept, just the all white thing.
Yeah.
absolutely. So there you have it. So the concept was a gentleman. Well, this is kind of really unorthodox still
Yeah.
because we're been up 0% talking about it.
Where's it?
Ladies and gentlemen, when you talk your truth, a gentleman, you must always talk your truth and turn to the right. Do not deliberate. Do not engage in any much explanation. Just turn to the right and leave her to work it out. But absolutely, yet my wife had 99.9.9999999% of the
The
planning.
input.
Yeah, the input. All me did do is basically run along with what she wanted. And of course, some of the parts that I needed. This is what I'm going to go to know. I want to know what went wrong on the day of the wedding.
All right. So the color was him. Everything else was me. What went wrong? I think I always said I didn't want to be late. I was an hour late, although I did get dressed on the venue at the venue and everything. So he was definitely he came on time, and because I was like the thing I don't want to be late. Please ensure you and your groomsmen are on time and all of that. And of course, I was late, an hour late, fashionably. Yeah, so that was one thing that I didn't want that happened. Um, so I remember the weekend before the couple days before the wedding, because we got married in the summer, and couple days before the wedding it was raining heavily. I think it was like a tropical storm or something. And I remember I was bawling because it was an outdoor wedding, outdoor venue. And I'm telling my mom, oh, it's gonna be wet and it's ruined, and I'm bawling, man. They even filmed it. That's the funniest thing ever. But on the day of the wedding, the Sunday actually, it was so hot. It was so, the sun was hot, hot, hot. I mean, no one could, very few people could sit on the lawn. They were more along the sides where they could get a little shelter from the building. So that I would have loved that it was a bit cooler. But other than that, I think everything kind of, went good. The vibes was good. The food was good. And yeah, it was a memorable day.
Yeah, very memorable.
What was
Very, very-
what is your biggest lesson learned in, is it 5 years? 5 years of marriage. Biggest
Six.
lesson.
Six.
6 years.
6 years of marriage. Sorry.
Biggest lesson. Run your own race. Run your own race, as in stop looking at other people and focus on you and your marriage. Yes, it's good to have couples to look up to and all of that. Yes, it's good. But run your own race, because at the end of the day, you may see things online, especially when it comes to Instagram. I can't stress that enough. Get off Instagram. Get off Instagram. Instagram is a place where you show moments that you want to show, and all the other moments are not there. So get off Instagram and get inside your own household, and focus on each other. Run your own race. It's also important to understand stages and levels. Things don't just arrive. Understand that there are stages that you have to go through to get where ultimately you want to get to. You don't just get married today and know everything and figure out everything today. There is a journey, there is a process, and there's beauty in the process, So and there's beauty in the struggle and in that journey to the ideal, to the coming together of one. I mean, we got married when I was 22 and you were 23.
Six.
No, 24. Yeah. Mm. We were going to turn 25 in December, and I had just turned 22. So that means, I have been who I was for 22 years, and he was who he was for 24 years. So coming together and gelling that together takes time, So focus on yourself, focus on your own marriage, focus on your own stage. Don't stop see people marriage. I can't wait to get this, so I can't wait to achieve that. I can't wait until we are there. You understand? Because they too had to go through the refining and the pressing and all of that to get there. So their marriage may be in year 14 and yours is in year 6. Year 6 look different from year 14. You understand? So focus on you, focus on your own marriage. What may work for somebody else may not work for you.
Yeah.
So you take advice, but you also take it with a grain of salt, or you take it and analyze it in terms of, okay, so this worked for them. How do I fit this into us? Yes, because it's not a carbon copy you're going to take and put into your marriage. You need to tailor that for you. You understand me? And I see this thing, get out of social media trends altogether. Like, one of the things that just annoy me, I see a lot of couples talking about that, not that it is not important and not that it doesn't work for them. But everybody nowadays have this thing about how quality time and date day, ensure that you have date day once a week, date day. So remember, it's not practical for everybody to have date, and I'm not talking only about finances. I'm just talking about time and logistics and everything else that you have going on. It's not practical to get away by yourself for an hour or two every week. It's really not practical, and that's one of the things, I used to want to that's one of the things that I wanted to force in. Ensure we're going on a date every week. But sometimes it's not ideal, it's not practical. Rethink what that date day looks like. It may look like just an hour when the kids gone to sleep and we watch a movie, or we spend some time and talk, or we drink some wine or whatever. It doesn't necessarily mean going out or whatever the case may be. Fit the concept into your own situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't just take it and just run with it and be like, okay, this is a one size shoes that's going to fit all. This will work for me.
Yeah.
You have to be able to analyze your own marriage, analyze who your wife is as a person, who your husband is as a person. If you have kids, you have to just analyze that whole dynamics and see how well this concept or this social media quote that you see out there about marriage, and just
Yeah.
see if it's a right fit for you. And I think for me, one of the biggest lessons I've learned is about intimacy. In marriage, there, there are going to be good seasons. However, there are going to be a lot of challenging seasons. And pretty much in those seasons, whether it is it's challenges with your health, it's financial challenges, or if it's even a challenge to conceive. Each of these challenges, they have the ability to kind of change us. Because as human beings, whenever we're going through challenges, there's an automatic mind shift. You know what I mean? And from that mind shift, it kind of just kind of it can either propel you to want to grow or to shrink back as a person. And whether you grow or whether you shrink back from those challenges, the truth is that you change. You know what I mean? And as you change, there's an impact that it leaves on your marriage, because now there's like, you feel as if there's this new person within your marriage, right? And as a result of the impact that the challenge had on them, because I believe that each challenge affects each person within the marriage differently. And each
Yeah.
person is going to deal with that challenge differently. And so it's very important to just understand that, okay, this person, like this challenge is going to affect her differently, it's going to affect me differently. And so, once you go through that change, or whether you shrink back, you kind of just get the feeling that there's this new person within your marriage. Like their confidence is different, they may be talking different, they may be walking different, dressing different, and it can be as a result of that challenge that he or she went through. And so I think when it comes to intimacy, it's really important to reintroduce yourself to each other, and you can do it, first and foremost, as Tianka said, through simple conversations. You know what I mean? Especially at the end of a challenging season, just make sure that you're having conversations to say, "Hey, babes, we went through this challenging season, and this is how it impacted me. This is how I feel. Whether my patience changed, or I developed some fear or some doubt." And so if you see me walking differently, if you see me talking differently, if you see my temperament change, it's as a result of the impact of that challenging season. You know what I mean? And this is how it has impacted me. And I think for us, we've had to have had a lot of conversations, a lot of date days, staycations, vacations, just to reintroduce ourselves to each other, because I feel as if we've challenges, you know what I mean? Once you're going through them, you're gonna change, you're gonna grow, or you can shrink back. But either way, you're still gonna change, whether you like it or not. And it's very important to reintroduce this new person
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
each other. And I would say my final tip is, and this is because I see it happening a lot in Jamaica, especially the men really not giving women the true honor and respect that is due.
Wow.
For me, I've seen Tianka, I think in 2018 we had Jornaya, and our first child, excuse me if I get emotional about it, but Jornaya was our first child, and in 2018, she had a challenging pregnancy. And after 50 plus hours of labor,
Challenging delivery.
a challenging delivery, and after 50 plus hours of labor, and finally a C-section, I remember three distinct look on her face. The first look is when the doctor came in the room and let her know that you're gonna have to do an emergency C-section, or you can go back home and you can labor, and you have 10 minutes to make this decision. And I can just remember seeing that look of disappointment on her face, that she tried for a natural home birth. She labored for 50 plus hours. You know what I mean? And the baby is still not here. I know she's gonna have to do something against her will. And the second look was that look of courage. I don't know where she got it from, but that look of courage and bravery on her face. And it just had, it came with this. Like, it's pretty much like she's saying, I understand that I'm making a sacrifice to do something against my will. Like, I don't want to do this C-section, but I have to sacrifice my body, and that's okay. You know what I mean? And just seeing that courage and how she walked into that C-section, the surgical room. And I think the third look was actually being in the room and just seeing those tears just climbing down her eyes while the doctor is slitting her open. I'm sorry if I'm being a bit graphic, but because I was able to watch it all and just seeing like this was something that she never wanted to do. She was fearful. She go from being fearful to being courageous to now being on the surgical table. And now these tears, it's tears of joy, it's tears of disappointment. It's just so many emotions just wrapped up in that tear. And I just remember that look on her face. And I just really say all of that to say to all the men who are listening, whether in our native country, Kingston, Jamaica, or wherever, our women, they make a lot of sacrifices. They make a lot of sacrifices to keep our families together. They make a lot of sacrifices to give birth to our children. And I believe that the pregnancy, giving birth is only a small portion of the equation. There's the postpartum, there's life after that. You know what I mean? There's adjustments there. For Tiyanka, she had to go back to work within weeks. You know what I mean? Not having to be able to process everything that happened, not being able to fully process that I really labored for 50 plus hours, had a C-section, and all the arising complications that develop as a result of having that C-section. And you have to get it together, you have to show up for work. And these are the sacrifices that our women are making, and so much more. And so it's very important that our men, like it's very disheartening to see men truly not respecting and honoring our women based on what they truly deserve, whether inside the marriage or outside of the marriage, meaning in the professional world. And I think that it's really time that we recognize their sacrifices. Not to say that men don't sacrifice, but we have to be able to honor them and respect them and honor, you know what I mean? Just honor and respect them in our marriage. I think those are so I mean I could really go on and on, but those are two of the points. And I mean just living overseas has really taught us how to be unified. I think since the start of our marriage, God has always had us living in different cities or countries that are that are distant from our immediate relatives. And what that has taught us, even being in Morocco, which is like 7,000 plus kilometers away from our native country, and you're in a country that you don't speak the native language. You know what I mean? You don't look like them. You don't talk like them. And that has taught me that you have to be unified. And you're really unified by the things that you say to each other, the things that you don't say, the things that you do, and the things that you don't do can determine if there's unity or segregation between you both. And it's really as simple as just watching what you say, or watching what you did not say, or just really being there for each other. I think be all those, just living so far away from family has really forced us to even be more unified in everything that we do. Because at this point, we're truly the only support that we have living this far away from family.
Yeah.
Listen. I mean, you have just. I mean, this is the first time we're meeting, and may I just say to Nelly, I am very happy to meet this couple, and Nelly, make sure we keep in touch you know.
For sure.
I'm going to make sure, Nelly, make sure that you connect us personally. Sir, this is the first time you're seeing me, but persons on here would know my passion about talking about building a man, right? In fact, I have, along with one of my colleagues, I've actually written a book talking about building a man. And I mean, you have just echoed, what we've been trying to create, what we're trying to support right out there. And this selfless respect for woman. And I keep saying, we can't claim to be men of God and not love our wives. It's not possible. In fact, it is
Yeah.
a command in the Bible. It is an expectation by God. So this love and respect and supporting her. And listen, I'm not just talking about on a program when you get to go up and greet and you're trying to get yourself some mileage. You talk about your cucumber and your tomato. I'm talking about when it matters most, right? That level of respect. And you made mention about all the sacrifice that women make. And listen, I'm telling you, when my wife was giving birth, but listen, I was so like all crying, man, and I was going through it. But I felt every pain for her.
Yeah, I know how it is.
Like there were times when I turn away and walk out. She didn't have that kind of she didn't have that opportunity. And so, we just want to big you up, sir. And for every man that is under the sound of our voice and will ever hear this, listen, these are sound nuggets for men. This is how God would have expected us to be here. Hear me. We can only be successful as men when we begin to fulfill God's expectation for our lives. Success is defined by our will to do what God has called us to do. Jesus, God spoke to Joshua in Joshua 1 verse 8, and I'm paraphrasing. And one of the things is make sure that you hear my word, meditate upon my word, and I'm paraphrasing. Observe and to do everything in it. Then shall you receive prosperity and, of course, good success. There's no good success. There's no progress if you don't learn as a man how to support and how to defend that woman. I want to just let you know here that when God designed man, manliness is directly correlated to godliness. So, in other words, if I am manly, then I am godly. There's no difference between the two. And so it's very important. I'm just here, just going out there, and for the men who are hearing, I've always said I'm going to be an advocate that defend the men and represent the men, but also defend you in such a way that I am willing to tell you the truth. We have to step up our game. And listen, you can't love a woman and treat her less. It's not possible. And sometimes when we do an assessment, right, the truth is sometimes we may have not done all that we're supposed to do, right? We're not out here to call it down on you. We're saying, listen, we are holding you accountable in the couple's corner. We're saying, as a man, listen, you're leaving here and you're making a deliberate attempt to make sure you show that level of respect, that level of honor. For your family, make sure you respect the woman to the T and make sure you honor her. It is actually godly to do so. To do the opposite is ungodly. So this is solid. I was going to ask some more questions, but you know what? I'm going to leave it for persons in the audience. I'm going to take 3 questions before we wrap up. We're aware that it is now 23:35 for this couple who will go to work tomorrow, and so we're going to wrap it up. But we want for those in our audience who have listened to Mr. and Mrs. Morrison on this very important subject of marriage, which I think we're not having enough discussion of, right? Just what questions do you have, if there's any question at all? What question do you have for this wonderful couple? Any question, any words you want to share?
Comment.
Yeah.
Question.
And I'm glad that Nelly is backing this up and say we women should do the same. You know what? It just shows you how much marriage is about us working together. Like, listen, marriage doesn't occur by miracle. I keep saying it's not you praying just to have a great marriage and you doing nothing else. You'll have to work to have a great marriage. That's just it. There are just things you're going to have to get up and do. I am going to have to forgive. I'm going to have to love selflessly. Persons would have heard me talk on several occasions. I said there's something I found out that I didn't know, even after becoming a marriage officer. There's something I didn't know. I was taught about these 4 types of love in Greek, and I thought that the love between a man and woman was eros, as they say, the erotic love, until I went to the Bible in Colossians chapter 3, verse 19. Husband, love your wives. And I took I researched the word love. As we know, the Bible, the New Testament was written originally in Greek. The word there is agape, which means unconditional, but not just unconditional. This love literally means to give to someone something they don't deserve. Do you understand why marriage was created to be a lifetime event? Do you understand that God's original intent for marriage is that it should last, that people should live through marriage and not just merely be married on paper, but enjoy this? Yeah? Give to someone something they don't deserve. Tell me, what can that other partner do so much, gentlemen, that they don't deserve your love and care, your support, and all that, right? That's what Jesus meant when he called us to love the woman. It's speaking about, recognizing that they don't deserve it, but you're willing to give them. Something fascinating about that love was also that you should give it in excess. Oh Lord, I don't know how better to tell you how a marriage is supposed to work. And one of the things I have committed to do it in my life is that I am neither attending a marriage, a wedding, I'm neither attending a wedding or conducting a wedding unless both couple understand the meaning of these 2 words. I'm sorry, I'm going to give you an English test. I gotta just make sure you ask this before we move on. Somebody has got to hold you accountable. I want you to know what you're actually getting into. It seems my audience is
it was so solid.
Well, here comes a question. So what advice would you give to a couple struggling with conflict in their marriage? Yeah.
I would say another big lesson that I've learned is that have arguments. However, let your arguments be productive. Growing up, I never saw my parents having arguments, and I equate that to a healthy marriage. And so when we got married and we started having arguments internally, I'm not sure if Tianka know of this, but internally, I was becoming fearful because I thought, oh, wow, I never saw my parents having arguments. So now that we're having arguments, it must mean that, we're unequally yoked and I knew that we weren't, but something is going wrong. Are we on the brink of divorce or something? And I used to panic internally. But what I've learned is that arguments become productive when you listen. The book of James says, be quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to anger. And what I've learned is that whenever there's an argument, when you truly listen, you're going to hear 2 things. You're going to hear the thing that's offending the person, and you're also going to hear the solution. For example, if it is that you're the type of, if it is that one spouse comes in and would probably just put down his or her shoe in the entryway and the other spouse doesn't like it, you know what I mean? If there's an argument about that, the one that's offended, they're going to say, okay, you know what? I don't like when you put, you came in yesterday, you put your shoes right there. I don't like that. And then the person typically is going to say, can you please stop? Well, then and there, you have the problem and you have the solution. The problem is you're leaving your shoe right there. And the solution is just please stop. And so if you really listen carefully, you can, especially to the person that's offended, you can hear what's causing the offense and how to stop it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Please. And sometimes it's a bit more detailed, you know what I mean? If it is that you're not complimenting the person, then you know what I mean? The person will tell you, hey, we went out yesterday and I got my makeup did for you, or I got a really good haircut and I felt as if you didn't recognize me. Can you compliment me more? So if you really listen, then and there, you know that, okay, the problem is you didn't compliment the person. And the solution is just give some more compliment. You know what I mean? And so if you're truly listening, you can find the problem and you can find the solution. And another part to that is to just take it seriously, because what offends another person, it's what they hold dear to their heart. It's something that means a lot to them. So I would say, listen carefully, take whatever problem it is that you're mentioning and the solution seriously, and not so much focus on changing who you are, but grow, improve on yourself. It's an opportunity to grow, you know what I mean? And just grow from there and just try not to repeat that offense. And I think that has been one of a good conflict resolution in our marriage, just listening to her at all times, making sure that I'm slow to speak. So that way I'm listening and I'm not just being responsive, and just this amount of anger is just festering up and being exuded in the environment.
Yeah, and I would go ahead and say that solid points. But what I found, especially earlier on in marriage, sometimes we don't get to that point as quickly, like able to say, okay, let's talk about it and whatever. Whether you feel like, you just can't find the words, you're scared, you don't know how the person will take it, etc., etc. I would say definitely, if words fail, you write them. And I find that writing them, if it's even 2, 3, 4, 5 pages, and giving to your partner so they can read them in their own time also. So they're only receiving the words and they're not perceiving your tone, your tonality, any of that. It takes all of that out of it, because then you're gonna say, oh, but I'm just saying this, but you sound like this and you look like this and your face has said this and da 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 da. So when words fail you, just write them. And also it takes the heat of the moment out of it. So you're not answering in the heat of the moment, or you're not dealing with things in the heat of the moment. You can take time to really, analyze your thoughts and really put it down, and the other person can really take time to read and reread and get a chance to understand really and truly what the issue is, and work towards it like that. And I would say definitely, when all else fail and you can't do it together, seek professional help.
Yeah.
Whether that is and when I say seek professional help, I don't necessarily mean that you should just go to any pastor, because I do believe not every pastor is equipped with also the knowledge and what they need to help you to go, to guide you through conflict. So find somebody that is equipped, whether it be a pastor or a counselor or whatever else kind of professional, and work through it with a third party.
Yeah. If I could just say, treat disagreements so unhealthy as if it's fire.
Yeah.
The goal should be to put out the fire.
Yeah.
Right? And whatever it takes, and it becomes the responsibility of both to put out that fire.
Yeah.
Right? The first person who recognizes it is fire, put it out.
Right?
Yeah. Take steps to put it out. Because there's no glory in waiting for you to prove that you're right. I often say to a couple, you can either choose to be right or choose to be happy. And sometimes our quest to be right can cause us nights and days of unhappiness and misery. So the person who first recognizes the fire, put it out.
Put it out.
Yeah.
Solid.
Take steps to put it out. Yep.
This is the encryption.
Look at this question.
Very important.
You're so nice.
Crystal, I like this question. How important is sex in a relationship? I would say it is very important. It is the foundation of the intimacy, right? Each time you get to rekindle and to know each other in another way over and over again. But I also think equally important as sex in the relationship is to understand the seasons of the relationship as well, because it's not in every season that you're going to be having lots and lots. Sometimes some seasons are lots of sex, some seasons are little sex, some seasons are just enough sex. So also understand the season, and understand the season doesn't mean like if you're going through a sexless season or a little sex season, it doesn't mean that anything is wrong. It doesn't necessarily mean that I'm no longer attracted to you, but you also have to know the time and the season. It is also as greatly important as sex is,
I I have heard this question asked so many times, and I have
Never heard a
gotten an
response.
Yeah.
Listen, Lady Morrison, you just baptized me. you just you just baptized me. That Caesar argument settles it for me.
Yeah.
And I think that level, that level of sensitivity is important. And you know what? When we keep listening to Oprah Winfrey, and no disrespect, Oprah, and all the persons in Hollywood,
Yeah.
they project what happiness should be and what interest is like. You
Yeah.
don't get this kind of response. The reality is persons go through different phases, just like
Yeah.
everything in life has a season. So
Yeah.
sex.
Yeah.
So why is it that there's sometimes I can just be happy, but
Yeah.
then sometimes I'm down?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. So sometimes
Yeah.
things are a lot. Sometimes they're moderate.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, understand the season, man. Ladies,
And I think
gentlemen,
men
married
too.
people,
Understand.
Yes.
Yeah.
understand it. Know what you do in winter. Chop.
Yeah.
Know what you do in summer.
Yes.
Autumn. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Make sure you know springtime.
We're
You
there.
know springtime.
And spring up and respond so
Yeah.
quickly, sure.
And I'm not.
Reproduction is highly possible.
Yes.
And I'm not trying to target the men, but it's just based on observation
Yeah.
and based on having male friends. It's like in the same manner in which women are so well prepared for marriage and to expect it, and men are just so well prepared and expectant of being the one that provides and so forth. Oftentimes it's the weight of having a healthy sex life is placed on the woman, and all these expectations. So I would say for men, like be more open-minded to her, hear what she has to say. And it's not, while listening to her, just understand that it's not so much about you, but it's so much about how you can please her as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's a win-win for both parties.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because women have sexual needs. I mean, I think I've done a bit of research a few days ago, and it shows that there are a lot of women who are not so much enjoying or have a healthy sex life. And so it's very important for us as men to set aside our ego, listen to our wives, and say, ask questions, babe.
Educate yourself.
Educate yourself.
Yeah,
How
about
can
the
we
female
improve
anatomy.
in this area? How can we take it to another level and just hear what she has to say? And
Yeah.
if there's improvement that needs to be done, don't take it personal, because it's not about you, it's about her.
And at the end of the day, you both are going to be
And the goal is
Yeah, just
is to
straight
be
from the norm.
happy. Yeah.
Just be
goal is
open.
happiness. Ladies and gentlemen, listen, this has been a fun-filled night. This looked like there's going to be a part
Informative.
2.
Sounds good to me.
I see Crystal saying, come on, like she
You're ready to start.
take the preaching, just start.
Just start, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
But we are definitely we definitely need to keep this connection. Listen, man, I am happy. Listen, you don't know me, I'm happy when we meet good people. I'm not gonna know, because when we meet good people, I'm not gonna know me cannot be any hypocrite, and I don't plan to be any. I'm not going to pretend. You must know when I meet good people. When I meet good people, you must see it from ear to ear.
Yeah.
Every single organ should respond. And I'm
Yes.
letting you know, I am very, very happy to meet the Morrisons. Listen to me, I'm blessed, and
Yeah.
I'm encouraged. This is a program I'm going back to listen to.
Yeah.
Because it's good to have those reflections, even as you hear, as a practitioner myself in talking to people and relationship, it's always good to have another say or another way to express some things, and just it sharpens you and sharpens your skills. So I'm just thanking you very much for coming here. And everybody knows me. One of the things I have said, a word that was uttered, I think, or repeated by the late Dr. Miles Monroe, is that the Bible was not given for information. I want to use this time to say the tips were not given for mere information, but they were given for transformation. I want you to go your way and to make sure that you are being transformed. Transformation is only possible when we learn to apply. If no matter how the Morrisons them talk good up here, you know we just want to get the whole on the A. But here what? This is like CXC. There is an exam component, but there is also an SBA component.
Yeah. And even in the exam, there are areas that you're being marked for your knowledge. You know.
So there's a CBA, couples-based assessment.
Brother.
You must now go back, for those of you who are married, and please get active, get in the work. Go and go put in the work.
Yes.
And make sure the union acknowledge the seasons.
Yes.
And to those of you who are not yet married, but are adequately preparing, gentlemen, listen, upgrade the package.
Upgrade.
Make sure you know what you want and never see yourself less.
Yeah.
Just update the package. And you might just get an updated response.
Yeah.
Yes.
To the ladies, know when good man after you.
Brother.
Hey, we don't need some special detectors that know if you detect good man. As you see them, all when them a beg you to buy something, you know from day one. So the signal will pick up.
Yes.
Put them.
Yeah.
And I'm looking, listen. Look at Cornelia laughing.
Sure.
Cornelia, listen.
Listen,
I don't want to give you any couple prophecy,
brother,
on this platform. But I'm believing God that, even as we have these talks after, marriages will begin to blossom, marriages will become a reality, and of course, marriages will grow. I feel that we'll be talking with just so much couples, and that we're hearing so much information that is sober and practical. Tips, we're not taking them as textbook information. We're taking them as tips that we can consider, things we can practice, things that we can do to ensure that we have a harmonious union. And so that's what I'm asking. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, the Rabdans want to thank you so much for joining us in this, our second episode.
Pillow Talk.
And we're going to have more with other guests. And we're going to bring back some guests because we need to hear more. And we're going to be looking at some topical issues in when we get to episode 2. Look at different things, different particular issues. And look at how couples are winning at union. Relationship are working on people.
Yeah.
Don't give up. Don't give up on your marriage. All right? And don't lose hope on that which you're doing. All right? We're happy to have the Morrisons. And I'm just going to allow them to give their closing remarks and then to go into a couple's prayer.
Brother.
I just feel the couple ministry. And how wonderful it would be to have a couple praying together.
Brother.
Oh Lord.
My God.
If there's 2 on this earth that shall agree, it shall be done. And there you go. Over to you.
So in closing, I just want to echo again, the importance of just understanding the season, understanding your partner, the importance of communication, whether that be orally or written, however is comfortable, the importance of speaking the truth, no matter how much it may hurt or it may have your partner down for a little while, but it doesn't make sense to hold it in. So communicate honestly, communicate purely, and tackle the issues, not the person. Yeah.
And for me, I mean, just to touch back on the points, just
because
in marriage, there are going to be good seasons and there are going to be challenging seasons. And after every challenging season, just touch base with each other, find out how each other is doing, how that season affected, you know what I mean, your spouse, and just kind of find out who they are now that the season has passed. You know what I mean? Check in with them, find out how they're doing, reintroduce yourself, whether through conversations, whether through days and so forth. And men, love and respect your wife, honor her, cherish her. You know what I mean? And just be unified in everything that you do. You know, the word says that a house divided by itself cannot stand.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And you have to be unified. This is your marriage. Nobody's going to fix it. Nobody's going to build it. Nobody's going to maintain it. Nobody's going to do the research. And as Pastor Robertson said, nobody's going to do the SBA or the research and to recollect the information and apply it in order to see transformation. So, you know, just, and amongst everything that was said, don't just take it for gospel, but analyze your own life and see what points did we share that can apply to your life right now and how well it fit for your union. Likewise, for every other advice that's out there on social media, analyze it first. You know what I mean? Tear it apart, pick out what makes sense and how you can best apply it to your life.
Yeah. And with Christ in the center,
Of
a three-strand cord. Christ, you, hubby, you will weather everything.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Awesome. Wonderful, and great tips coming over here from the couple. We're going to allow them to pray at this time, unitedly. I want to see a couple hold and pray on this platform. Amen. And if those of you are
praying for marriages, praying for what?
We're praying as a couple. We're praying for persons here, but for their marriage, that persons make right decisions. We're also praying for those who are not yet married, that they will, be focused and make those right decisions as well. We're just praying that marriage, Christian marriage, will blossom. And those of you who are on here, if your spouse is nearby, go and grab them, hold their hands, and let us pray as couples together, even now. And if them sleeping, go rest your hand on them. But let's make this a couple's prayer. Amen.
The most righteous Father, we thank you. We honor you, we glorify you, we magnify you, mighty God. Mighty God, we thank you for the institution of marriage, mighty God. Mighty God, it was instituted by you, mighty God. Heavenly most righteous Father, mighty God, right now we pray for every union. Mighty God, we pray, mighty God, for every union that you, mighty God, will be the foundation, mighty God, the solid rock on which they stand. Mighty God, we pray, mighty God, that in good times, in bad times, mighty God, that you'll continue to be the center and the foundation of their union, mighty Father. Heavenly most righteous Father, I pray, mighty God, that you will send helpmates, mighty God, to help them, mighty God, to nurture their unions, mighty God, to pour into their unions, Heavenly most righteous Father. Mighty God, we pray, mighty God, that especially in a day and time such as this, mighty God, where the world is making a mockery of the institution of marriage, mighty God, that you will allow, mighty God, persons to go back to the core, mighty God, of the reason and the purpose for marriage, Heavenly most righteous Father. Heavenly most righteous Father, I pray for married couples, mighty God, right now that are going through difficulties, mighty God, childlessness, mighty God, and different problems, mighty God. Heavenly most righteous Father, I pray, mighty God, that you will help them, mighty God, that couple, mighty God, that is hoping to conceive, mighty God, I pray, mighty God, that you will open wombs right now. Mighty God, that couple that is going through constant bitter and constant arguments, mighty Father. Mighty God, I pray, mighty God, that you will bring them together, mighty God, bring them back, mighty God, to their first love, mighty God, bring them back, mighty God, to that reason why they have joined together in holy matrimony, mighty Father. Heavenly most righteous Father, to every single man, every single woman that is seeking a godly man or a godly woman, mighty Father.
dear
Heavenly
God.
most righteous Father, I pray, mighty God, that you allow them to abide in you as they seek, mighty God, that individual Father. Heavenly most righteous Father, I pray, mighty God, that they will be able to hear you clearly, mighty God, that they be able to follow your voice, follow your leading, follow your inclination, mighty God. Help them to remember, mighty God, the core values of that person that you're sending them. Help them to not get weary in waiting, mighty God. Help them, mighty God, to get to know themselves, mighty God, as they prepare, mighty God, for their partner. Heavenly most righteous Father, Heavenly most righteous Father, I pray, mighty God, that you sweep, mighty God, over every continent right now, mighty God. Touch every union, mighty God. No plans of the enemy, mighty God, shall come nigh their unions right now in the mighty name of Jesus. No Jezebel, mighty God, shall come nigh their unions, mighty God. Heavenly most righteous Father, they'll be able to focus, mighty God, on each other, mighty God, and build and work and grow. And even though it may not look like how they want it to look right now, mighty God, help them to remain steadfast and resolute, mighty God. Help them to stand on the love, that genuine love that brought them together in the first place. Mighty God, help them to focus on their own union. And mighty God, help them to focus on their own union. Help them to focus on their own union, to build their own union, mighty God. Oh, comparison is a thief of joy, mighty God. We rebuke, hallelujah, the spirit of comparison right now, and the trickery of that old boy Satan. Hallelujah. Mighty God, allow marriages to flourish in this season. Allow marriages to flourish in this season. Allow communication to be easy. Allow communication to be easy.
In the name of Jesus, I pray that
allow teamwork and coordination to be easy, mighty Father.
Placed with who they are coupled with, dear God, who you have coupled with them are enough.
We thank you, mighty God, for this beautiful institution of marriage. And I pray, mighty God, that you keep to bind us together. Keep binding them together, mighty God, with cords that cannot be broken. And we thank you, mighty Father. We thank you, Father.
I pray that comparison will be
eliminated. And we pray, mighty God, that you just continue to cover us right now.
Each other.
In your holy and matchless name, I pray.
They will see their marriage, dear God, and the blessings that you've poured into their marriage. They will see where you've taken them from to where they are now.
Yes,
and dear God, they will be reminded, dear God, of the vision that you showed them for their marriage in the beginning. If they haven't written down the vision, dear God, now will be the time for them to write it down, dear God, so that wherever you're taking them, dear God, when challenges come, they will run and read the vision, dear God, and they will know, dear God, that it will come. They will be reminded that, mighty God, even though they are experiencing challenges, even though, dear God, the womb is unfertile, dear God, but they will remember that you promised them a child. They will remember the story, mighty God, of Sarah, dear God. And they will remember, dear God, that they too, you can do it for them. You can do it for their finances.
If you did it for us,
dear
if you
God,
opened my mighty God, you can open their wombs.
Your word says, mighty God, that I pray that couples will not be anxious for anything.
Yes.
By prayer and supplication, mighty God, they shall make their requests known
and I
to
pray
you.
that they will open their hearts to receive the comforter who is able to comfort them.
Yes, Lord.
And bring a peace over them. A peace, dear God, that will eradicate comparison.
Yes,
a peace that will eradicate the feeling of being overlooked or being placed on the shelf or on the back burner.
Yes,
but they would understand, dear God, that you're just being prepared. That on the other side, dear God, there's joy. On the other side, dear God, is that green pasture. In the name of Jesus. And we tell you thanks for this breakthrough. We tell you thanks, dear God, that chains are being unleashed. And we tell you thanks, dear God, for the men who weren't properly trained or educated, dear God, whether by their fathers or their stepfathers or whatever father figure that they had.
Yes.
I thank you, dear God, that you are training them. I thank you, dear God, that you're partnering with your wife to grow through this thing called life.
Yes.
To acknowledge their shortcomings and to be okay with it. and to forget, dear God, that those are things of the past and to press forward towards the mark, which is to be a better husband. And I pray that they will understand that they can do it. It's not an arrival point, but it's a journey. And it's okay to make mistakes and to know that they are forgiven by you, dear God. To know that they are forgiven by their wives, Heavenly Father, or their wife. To keep pressing, dear God, and they will do it, dear God. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Jesus.
Amen. It's so important that we pray together. It is what keeps a marriage going. Amen. Amen. Just want to thank you so much, Morrison, for coming and on a minister. Preach, we laugh, we teach, and we did so much for the couples. Now, for those persons who are on here, we are going to be doing one shortly. Starting now, we have the guest speaker lineup, but that's on a different platform. And she will be speaking to the singles. I hear me. Wow, married people come to it. So they're going to be in this. They're going to be talking to the singles. I'm putting the link, the Zoom link in the chat. Feel free to come on over there and join us over there. We're going to be talking from the perspective of the single. Listen, we are on a mission to help, to empower, to strengthen every union, every relationship, build up every individual so that they can have a great union. All right, so we want to thank God for the Morrisons once again. Thank God for having them here. Omar, yes, this is definitely going to be a Sunday thing, so look out for it. Yeah, invite your friends, tell more people about it. Those of you who are on who have not yet subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe. Remember to find us on Instagram. Go ahead and just type the Rob Dance and hit the follow. Find us on Facebook. Hit the like and just help us as we continue to build up and support this ministry. All right, so that said, we want to thank God for the Morrisons. Thank you so much for being here and just minister. Listen, we have a link, in fact, I'll talk to you right off studio. Right.
Thank you.
Congrats again on the anniversary, and thanks for having us. Thanks for sharing your platform with us.
Absolutely.
Thanks everyone for tuning in.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Great. So I'm going to be talking to them in the background, guys. I'm going to sign out now. Join us on the other platform. We're going to be over there. We're talking with the singles right after. So come on over and let's have that conversation. All right. That said, peace out. Blessing. Remember, this is the Couples Corner where God is best for you and your partner. That said, blessings. I begin to